On this episode of Not Knowing What I'm Doing and Doing It Anyway, we are building a wood standing desk. This series is all about showing you how to inject color and personality into your bland white home on a budget, because I know I'm not the only one who has Chanel taste on a shoestring budget. I hope this series inspires you to bring your Pinterest dreams to life. Whether you buy it, DIY it, or thrift it, it's possible to create a beautifully designed space on a budget, even if you're renting. This is my second apartment makeover, and we're doing things a bit differently this time. I survived the heartbreak of unmaking over my last DIY apartment, and I learned a lot because I poured so much love into every wall, but I didn't really think about making things that could move with me, so this time we're working smarter, not harder. That's why the standing desk is the perfect place for us to start. Hey y'all, welcome to the studio. I'm Morgan Simone. I have been DIYing, building my own furniture with no skills, no plans, just a girl and a Pinterest dream. So I'm so excited to do it again with another apartment makeover. Today we're building a standing desk, the first attempt at this desk. I'm here to show you what not to do. Unfortunately for me, the saxophones kept getting louder with every step of this project, but this was during the Summer Olympics. The track girlies had me feeling like I could literally accomplish anything I dreamed up. Unfortunately, that was just not the case with this project, so I had to take a little break from it. This, on top of having to say goodbye to the brick wall, I was down bad, but I was finally ready to go back to the drawing board. I am so obsessed with the vision for this room. Let's bring it to life. It's move-in day, and I actually woke up pretty discouraged this morning because obviously it's a much smaller space. We're gonna have to get rid of some things and rearrange and reimagine the space, but coming in here today, I feel really excited. I didn't realize we had 2 sliders and no more fogged windows, which I'm very excited about. And I just got back on Pinterest looking at all my inspo and was like, you know what? I feel re-energized, and I'm just grateful to be able to create, to have the vision, the skills to keep growing and keep creating. So my husband's like been moving stuff outside of the door because he's like ready to go, and I'm like, I have to film, gotta get my before video, but I need to go help him because he's gonna be like, girl, come on, let's go. Let's get it. All know moving is awful and stressful, overstimulating. We had a few days of overlap when we moved into the new place, and we're still unmaking over the last apartment. So that did help some, but I was, per usual, being overly ambitious, attempting to paint my next closet before we moved all our clothes in, still having to paint the last closet white before I moved out. More in the painting chaos later. Reinstalling my viral wood panels was the #1 thing on the punch list. This was one of the easiest DIYs I've ever done, and I will probably keep reinstalling this every time I move because it's such an easy and affordable way to add texture and warmth to your space. Each panel is around $16. I have all the materials I used to bring this DIY to life linked in my Lowe's storefront. I also knew I wanted to utilize my DIY wood console again. This hides my projector screen as well as all the scrap wood I refuse to let go of because I never know when I'm going to need it for a project. Now you could blame it on the exhaustion from moving or just my usual DIY clumsiness. We thought we needed to take this apart to fit the desk and all of the furniture on this wood wall, but we actually didn't, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to put this back together. That's for another day. Now, if you get to Lowe's and they don't have the warmer tone panels, there is a way to stain them. I was fortunate my original panels came like this, but I needed another row of panels when we moved because this wall is a lot wider. For the wall, I used Varathane stain and special walnut to match my original wood panels. Now you'll see later when I stain my desk that the stain is gonna look so much better if you start with Minwax wood conditioner. If you decide to skip this step, you'll have to work very quickly with the brush and the cloth technique, and you risk it being really splotchy. My first attempt did not go well. I made it work with this extra panel, but I will not be skipping wood conditioner again. After all the moving chaos, the grief of losing my work from the last apartment finally set in, and I just had zero motivation to create in another apartment. I had it in my head that my hard work was never gonna pay off, and I started to shrink away from my dreams yet again. But I took some time off from creating, and I discovered these kits from Craft Club Co., and they were so cute and so easy to finish in a weekend. There's something about actually finishing a project you start that gives you this boost of dopamine like no other. I totally credit these kits for getting me unstuck and helping me to want to create again. Now, I've never had a YouTube sponsor one day, but I am a craft club ambassador, so if you shop my links or use my discount code, I may earn a small commission, and I appreciate y'all for supporting my channel. Now that we're feeling nice and creative and inspired again, let's start this build. After a year of procrastinating, I was finally ready to begin again. Now, the original build was way too big for the space I had in this new apartment, so I made some very questionable, jagged jigsaw cuts to cut down the top plate, and this is not usable, but I was just glad that I was starting again. I knew the jigsaw cuts were not gonna cut it, so well. So I called in my dad for reinforcements, and he showed me how to use his circular saw, and I was so grateful that he stayed out there with me, because after my bad experience with the table saw, I did not trust myself around power saws. We rented a table saw when I built my own sofa. Not shown here is the wood flying across the room. Here's a little reenactment. He made sure I operated it safely and properly, and unfortunately, you'll see in the next episode that I really did need that supervision. I'm a self-taught DIY girl. I've been learning as I go along, and it's so cool to be able to build something from scratch and learn new skills along the way. So if you want to get into this yourself, I highly recommend just watching so many tutorials and safety videos, and find someone who knows a little bit more than you that is willing to let you borrow their tools and show you how to use them. There's so many possibilities that you can create with a little bit of hard work and sweat equity. We're putting the desk together today. I was so happy to have this standing desk to use as my workbench, because usually I'm working on my countertop, and if you've been here a while, you know that that is a terrible workbench option. With every DIY, I'm pretty much just making things up as I go along. I likely watched 1 to 2 YouTube videos to get an idea of the concept I was trying to bring to life. Because I needed this to be on casters, my husband wanted the desk to be movable for our additions, and we also thought we might use it as a dining table at some point, and so that was kind of difficult to figure out, but I kind of like the creative problem solving part of the project. So this one only has 2 wheels, and because I did them just right down the middle, I had to rig this to make sure it doesn't collapse. This one, I put 2 wheels again, but they're like a diagonal from each other. I have to go get some more. They didn't have enough when I went to Lowe's last night, so I want to fit this in here where it's supposed to go so I can see if I can make the book storage boxes a little wider. So we'll see how this goes. And then it was time to continue building my book boxes. This was actually the most frustrating part. Not the casters, not the hinges, but the amount of times I had to rebuild these book boxes. Don't let this smile fool you. This was before I had to rebuild these book boxes a trillion times, an embarrassing amount of times, okay? DIYing is supposed to be my safe space, just the vibes, the fun, the amount of math I am doing trying to figure out this desk build is giving pick a new hobby. A diva has distractions. Unfortunately, a diva has distractions. So while this video is focused on the standing desk, I was also working on 6 other projects at the same time, some of which I will blame on my shiny object syndrome. That is a real issue I have yet to overcome. But some of it was actually not my fault. My dad wanted me to get all of my junk out of his garage. So if you're wondering how I get everything done, a huge factor is my people pleasing and not wanting to be in anyone else's way whatsoever. But I want to know, where are all my divas with distractions? And how are y'all managing? How are you finishing your projects? Please share your comments with all of us. We need help, please. Give us a tutorial. We need that. If anyone has a good pop-out hinge that they really like, please let me know in the comments. I will spend any amount of money needed to not deal with the pain of whatever this cheap. This is so poorly made. It was so difficult to put together. send help immediately, please. I went back to Lowe's to get more casters so it would actually be balanced, and the moment of truth was finally here. After so much hard work, the piece was finally coming together. Such a proud moment when you work really hard and the theory actually works out. I want to know in the comments if y'all would attempt a build like this. If you're like, girl, I'm gonna watch you do it. I know everyone doesn't want to be tussling with the 2x4s out in the heat in the workshop like this. So I've also curated some home finds to bring this vision to life on a budget. I've linked it below in my shop my, so you could also bring this vision to life without all the sawdust and the stress. At this point, I'm a utility plywood ambassador because I use this stuff on everything. Now for building furniture, I don't know that this is the best quality wood to use. It gets the job done, it's affordable. I needed a way to hide all these seams, and I like the wood grain better than this plywood that I bought. So let me know in the comments, my pro, semi-pro builders, what y'all's thoughts are on this, and if you have an alternative. Once I get a little better, I don't like spending a whole lot of money when my skills don't match, if you feel me. So let me know what y'all's recommendations are as I get a little bit better with my skills with each project. Maybe I'll splurge in a future project. The finishing steps had multiple steps within that part. So, you know, this project, it was like 40 projects in one, and I had to learn what I was doing every step of the way, which is insane, but so satisfying when you get to the finished project. Like I was telling y'all earlier, I will never skip the wood conditioning step ever again. It makes all the difference, and I don't do the best job sanding my projects all the time, and this helps finesse that, if you will. Now, because I was going to stain, seal multiple layers of polyacrylic, I knew I had to get this first layer of stain on so it could dry, so I could start my sealing and sanding process, because running back and forth to my parents' house every time I try to make progress on this, it takes a toll, okay? I can't wait for the day I have my own workshop and I don't have to run all across Dallas to get this done. So I was working into the evening, honey, because I had to get moving on to the next step. This project was already taking so long, and my parents had me rolling because they were helping me get cleaned up on this night, and my mom is literally the cutest.
Wait, maybe I can get her like doing that down there with her window. This is so cute. Both of you are in the video like old times when you would help her with projects. So she's got this on record, babe, so you're in the video.
And we are so back the next day, ready to seal, and it is so satisfying seeing your hard work come together. The wood tone is popping. I'm loving the wood grain. I let my girl dry, and I came back the next day to lightly sand it and clean it off. I used alcohol. If the pros are in the comments, let me know if that's not the right thing to do. I'm gonna tell you one thing right now, it worked, because you do not want that dust all mixed in with your next layer of polyacrylic. And there is something so satisfying about using these wax fill stick crayons on my wood tabletop. I loved it so much because you will see when I share the tutorial next, I was making some very questionable decisions on this project, and the way I was using wood filler, the way I was fixing the edges. And so I had to go back in and fill in my mistakes, but it turned out to be a happy accident because I thoroughly enjoyed this. This and nobody rushing me, my perfect Saturday.
The shaft diameter here is approximately 3/8. It's 0.372 inches in diameter. And then on the thicker portion right here, I had no problems cutting.
Girl.
I'm not getting any burning with it either. For setting up your hinge...
Oh, you thought the hard part was over? it's just begun. Y'all, I was trying to watch a tutorial on the cabinet hinges and I felt like they were speaking another language. Like, I didn't know I needed to learn trigonometry to finish a project. That's what it felt like. But I finally found this tutorial. I'm gonna show it and link it here because my girl helped me out of the trenches, because this project was not going to be finished without her. One thing about me, 1 minute I might be down. It might look like all hope is lost, but I'm gonna see it through. I'm gonna figure it out. And by the end of it, you can tell me nothing. I'm thinking I can build my own house. I'm so excited. I just figured out how to do the Craig cabinet. Lord have mercy. Wait a minute. The Craig cabinet hinge situation. And I also learned that my drill has multiple torque settings. I don't know what the term is. But look at this. I just did that. I'm telling you, DIY girls, there is nothing we cannot do. I don't know if that's the right phrasing. We can do anything. Our hair might look a little crazy in the process, but I'm telling you, one day I'm gonna build my own house. Just watch. And one thing about a DIY is once you're up, that girl's gonna find a way to humble you right back down to earth, because these hinges, trying to install them with the desk in the way, baby.
Oh.
I don't be cussing on here, but just know I was cussing when I was trying to put these in, okay? A DIY project might come with trials and tribulations. You might get in a certain point in the project and you might think, I'm not gonna make it. This is not gonna get done. The vision will not be coming to life. It's gonna stay in the notes app. It's gonna stay in my Pinterest board. But when you keep going, when you don't give up, the satisfaction you get from a finished project, there's nothing like it. I am so happy I didn't give up. There were many times, many reasons I could have. And when you get to that other side and you see your Pinterest dreams come to life, when all of your hard work finally starts paying off, it is the best feeling. You're gonna feel more inspired to work on the next project. As a reminder, this is where we started. Bland white walls, a blank canvas, and lots of moving chaos transformed into a warm and cozy space that's functional, beautiful, and on a budget. So I hope you enjoyed the roller coaster that this DIY living room transformation was. This is just part one. And I'm so excited to keep sharing everything I've been dreaming up in this apartment makeover with y'all. So stay tuned for snippets from the next episode, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode or tutorial. And I can't wait to see y'all in the next episode. Thanks for being here. Next time in the studio, we're transforming these ugly vertical blinds into luxury curtains on a budget and building our own shelves. Well, hopefully. Subscribe to see if I survive my next DIY.